90% of the Reels creators I work with have the same problem when it comes to getting views: weak beginnings. So to help you avoid this problem, I asked my followers to send me their Reels so I could critique them. But I lied. I'm not just going to critique them, I'm going to totally recreate the beginning of one of these Reels by breaking down the hook, the video's appearance, and body language. In order to get the results you want, you gotta think at the beginning of your Reel as a three-part system. The beginning of your Reel affects your watch time, because if people aren't watching the beginning and they're swiping, the algorithm stops showing your Reel. Let's meet our brave volunteer, Mei Ling, a trauma-trained practitioner with her Reel, Healthy Aggression.
In our society, the term aggressiveness, is seen as a bad, negative thing.
First thing I see, Mei Ling, you have a great on-camera presence. But if we want this Reel to get seen by more people, we have to stop the scroll. Instagram wants to keep people on the platform as long as possible, so it's throwing out as many Reels as it can in hopes people will be interested in them. You are competing with thousands of Reels and thousands of people with zero attention spans. One quick way to stop a scroll is to start your video off so that when people see it, they ask themselves a question and decide to watch longer. You'll know when this starts to happen because your views will skyrocket compared to the views you normally get. For example, your niche is organization and systems for working moms with young children, and you have a hack to help people make cupcakes like that. You could start off like this. These days, people don't like to wait, but there's something to be said for a person who's willing to wait. But it'd be even better if you started off like this. I made these cupcakes for my son's birthday in less than 10 minutes from scratch, and you're gonna be able to do the same thing after I show you my super ninja cupcake hack. Dang, as a mom who has no patience in the kitchen, I wanna see that hack. When this is done well, it gets people to feel something. They get excited, intrigued. At the beginning of Mei Ling's video, we don't know why we should keep watching. Now that can work on a platform like YouTube when people see the title and the thumbnail before they click on the video. But on platforms like Instagram and TikTok, we don't know what we're getting. In order to get your viewer excited, you gotta come up with something that they care about around that topic and then focus on that. And I think we can come up with something more exciting than healthy aggression. Which brings us to the first part of our three-part system. The first part is the hook or your first sentence. Second, body language. Third, the appearance of your video. Before you record your video, you gotta plan it. What's the first sentence going to be, and what is the viewer going to see? And how are they going to create that emotion we want them to feel? But before we do that, we've gotta think about what the most exciting thing is about our topic to our viewer. We've gotta think like Mei Ling's ideal person. If you don't even know Mei Ling, how am I supposed to know what the ideal person thinks?
Then I had a powerful reframe, which
I found a major clue. I discovered Mei Ling's story highlight. This tells me a lot about Mei Ling, which means I can learn more about her ideal person. Because we have a couple versions of our ideal people, and one of those versions is a lot like you were before you figured out that thing that you do so well, before you created a business around it. Mei Ling left her medical career to become a trauma-trained practitioner because she realized she was a people pleaser and she wanted to stop living to impress other people. After her breakthrough, she went back to school so she could coach people on how to build healthy boundaries and rewire the way they think about relationships and work. So based on Mei Ling and her story, I'm assuming Mei Ling's people are working moms between 30 and 45. They're always on the go because they have a hard time saying no and protecting their time. They're most likely perfectionists who don't want to disappoint people. And at the very end of Mei Ling's reel, she talks about the importance of saying no. It was the very last sentence.
Because each time you say no to others, it's saying yes.
This video can't be about aggression. It's a life-changing video that's going to transform the way people think about saying no, which means giving them permission to take time to do the things they love, like sipping coffee outside on a summer morning, taking 15 minutes to catch up with a good friend, or having a guilt-free family night at home. I know it sounds over the top and dramatic, but you have to understand this if you want to get people to actually want to watch your video. Now I'm going to take this and write down several ways we could start this video. Don't know how to tell your boss no? Have a hard time saying no when you're asked to volunteer? Do you feel guilty when you tell a friend no? Do you work nonstop because you can't say no to people and projects? I'm using key words, words that they would pick up on. Obviously the word no, friends, projects, you gotta use these key words that your ideal person would recognize to say, ooh, that's something for me. It's almost time to record, but first, we gotta get to our second part, which is body language. If we really wanna connect with the person watching, we have to be careful with our facial expressions, our tone of voice, and our hand gestures. Body language research shows the words you say are less than 10% of the message people receive. The rest is made up with your voice, face, and body. So if we don't think of those, no one's getting the message or feeling the way you want them to feel, especially if you can't see the person's body. We can't see Mei Ling's hands. Research also finds that showing the palms of your hands tells the person you're trustworthy, because when you hide your hands, it looks like you are hiding something, which is why you don't want to frame yourself like this. You want your hands to be seen. That brings us to the third part, the appearance of your video. She also has all this space above her head. That makes her look small, timid. It doesn't position her as an authority. This is something that happens when you sit down on a vertical video. It's easy to get all that head space. So you want to make sure you're lowering your phone enough so that you only have a little bit of headroom, so that you look like you're taking command of the screen. I can tell from Mei Ling's video, she wants a casual, friendly look to her videos. She doesn't want it to look too overproduced. Another way you can achieve that look is by using a selfie stick. Just walking and talking is more interesting than you just sitting there. If you are going to just sit there, then you do want to add some visuals, at least text on your screen to let people know what the video is about as soon as they hit your video. It's finally time to create the beginning of the reel, and Mei Ling unfortunately couldn't make it. So I will be playing the part of Mei Ling. Next time you're asked to do something or invited somewhere, ask yourself these 3 questions. The answers will help you decide if you should say yes, no, and what to say. And it's all based on something called healthy aggression. As a recovering people pleaser, I know what it's like to say yes to something you don't want to do and to feel guilty when you actually do say no. I'm going to share with you something that totally transformed my life. I now know exactly what to say when someone asks me to do something I don't want to do. And it's all based on something called healthy aggression. See how those connected with Mei Ling's ideal viewer? Because immediately they know she's talking to them. Plus, with the body language thrown in there and the framing, now it looks like you are credible and inviting and friendly at the same time. But that's just the beginning of your reel. There are more ways for you to continue to connect with your viewer and keep them watching until the end. And if you want to learn how to do that, watch this video right here. If you really want to take your reels and other videos to the next level, check out my program, This is Video School. I put a link in the description of this video. That's where you're going to learn exactly what kind of content you need to make to attract the right people, get them wanting more of your video, and get them to become customers and clients.